All right, today we are digging into a really radical idea, one that could completely flip our relationship with technology on its head. I want you to imagine a future where you don't buy your gadgets anymore, you just subscribe to them. So let's just jump right in with the big central question here. What if you never actually owned your phone again, or your laptop, or your smart glasses, ever? Yeah, it sounds a little strange, right? But a new company, Linkspreed, is literally betting their entire business on this idea. Their new WYNIX hardware line, you can't buy it. It's going to be available only through a rental subscription. Okay, so to really get why they're doing this, you kind of have to understand the world this hardware is built for, and that's Web4. Now, in a nutshell, it's just the next evolution of the internet. The vision is for a more dynamic, decentralized ecosystem. So, think of an internet where data and control are way more spread out. This hardware is designed to fit perfectly into that world. So what's the difference in the real world? Well, you know the traditional model, right? Huge upfront cost, you own the thing, and then, eventually it gets old and slow. The WYNIX model just completely flips that script. We're talking zero upfront cost. You just rent it, and when the new, shiny version comes out, you just swap it out for an upgrade. Simple as that. So, we're going to break this down into the four key pillars of their whole strategy. First, making tech accessible to way more people. Second, putting an end to obsolete gadgets. Third, building in some really serious hardware-level security. And finally, creating a more sustainable, circular tech economy. Let's kick things off with that first one, accessibility. All right, pillar number one, democratizing digital access. And really, this all boils down to one thing: getting rid of that massive financial hurdle, the price tag. And here's the headline, the big, powerful claim, $0 up front. The whole idea is that you can get your hands on the absolute latest tech without having to drop a grand or more just to get in the door. I mean, just look at this comparison. A typical flagship phone these days, yeah, that'll set you back over $1,000, easy. But with the WYNIX W4 phone, that huge financial barrier, it's just gone. And this completely changes how you budget for tech, right? Instead of saving up for this giant one-time hit to your bank account, it just becomes a predictable, manageable monthly bill, just like your Netflix or Spotify. Okay, so the cost barrier is gone. Let's move on to the second pillar, the end of obsolescence. And this tackles that feeling we all know and hate, right? When your brand new, super fast device starts feeling kind of slow and clunky just a year or two later. There's a quote from the source material that I think just nails their whole philosophy. It says, "Ownership creates technological stagnation. Rental creates perpetual relevance." And that's really the core idea, isn't it? When you own something, you're kind of stuck with it as it gets older. But if you're just renting, well, you can always have what's new and relevant. And they've designed the whole process to be super simple. You get your device, a new model gets released, you just swap it for the latest version. It's a continuous cycle that means you're basically never left behind with old, outdated tech. And the benefits here go way beyond just having the newest, shiny object. Think about it. Because Linkspreed still owns the hardware, they're the ones on the hook for its performance. That means they're doing proactive maintenance, they're giving you immediate replacements if something breaks, and they're making sure every single device is perfectly optimized for that web-form network. The burden isn't on you anymore. Okay, let's move on to pillar number 3, hardware-level security. Now, this is where the rental model starts to offer some really unique privacy advantages, stuff that's just really, really hard to do when you're just selling devices one by one. See, because Linkspreed controls the entire life cycle of every single device, from factory to user and back again, they can build security in at the absolute deepest level. We're talking about things like hardware-based identity chips, a guarantee that your data is securely destroyed when you return a device, and a totally managed, secure ecosystem. So here's the bottom line on security. This model pretty much eliminates a huge modern-day risk. You never have to worry again if you really wiped your old phone properly before you sold it on some secondhand marketplace. You just return it. The company handles the whole retirement process securely. It's off your plate. And all of this brings us to our final and honestly, maybe the most important pillar of them all, creating what's called a circular tech economy. It's all about totally redefining what environmental responsibility looks like in the tech world. It's all about creating this perfect closed loop. A device is made, It's rented out, you return it, and then it's either refurbished for another person to use or it's responsibly recycled. The key is that in a system like this, nothing just gets thrown out, nothing goes to waste. And again, just think about the business incentives here. Because Linkspreed is on the hook for keeping these devices running for years, they suddenly have a huge motivation to build them to last. They're designed from the ground up for durability and for easy servicing, not to be disposable junk that you throw away after 2 years. So let's just recap and bring it all together. You've got accessibility, which gets rid of that huge price tag. You've got performance, which means you never have to own obsolete tech again. Then there's security, with data protection baked right into the hardware. And finally, sustainability, with a massive reduction in e-waste. It's a pretty powerful combo. When you put it all together, it's a really compelling package, isn't it? It tackles some of the absolute biggest problems in consumer tech today: the cost, the waste, the security risks. Which, of course, leaves us with one last really big question to chew on. Is this the beginning of the end for ownership as we know it? And could that actually turn out to be a good thing?